Yesterday, the Texas Governor Greg Abbott informed the U.S. Department of Labor that Texas will opt out of further federal unemployment compensation related to the COVID-19 pandemic effective June 26th. This is a tricky issue. Man, this is tough. And I struggle with it, and I'm going to look forward to getting your guidance and your input on it because you're out there, maybe suffering through the effects of the pandemic economically. Or maybe you're sitting home saying I can make more money from the government sitting home than going to work. If I go to work, I'm going to make less, and I've got a responsibility to feed my family. Which is it? Because I'm hearing a lot of stuff, anecdotally at least, that people don't want to go back to work. I've had a lot of people in my life confirm to me they can't get people. They can't hire. People aren't coming through. People don't want to work. People are not knocking down the doors to re-enter the workforce. Look at the April jobs numbers. They thought we'd add over 1 million jobs. We added a quarter of that. And they were all shocked. What was it, the MSNBC clowns that were like, they thought it was a typo? They were looking at the number and they said, is this a mistake? 266,000 jobs? It was supposed to be over 1 million? Well, duh. I mean, let me ask you directly. If you had the choice between staying home, being with your family, taking care of your family, and making more money by not working, would you take that? Or would you say, no, I got to go to work. I'm going to make less money, but at least I'll be productive. I'll be, working 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day. We got to be a little bit real here. And Governor Abbott, like Governor McMaster in South Carolina, like other governors, are saying enough. We cannot keep relying on government assistance. Where are you on this? 1-800-655-MIKE. Do you agree with governors? And these are red state governors. Blue state governors probably aren't going to do this. I don't see leftist governors cutting off the government dole anytime soon. That's not how they think. It's not how they operate. You think Cuomo or Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer are going to say no more government assistance? But South Carolina's doing it. Texas is doing it. Other states are doing it as well. Derek, see if you can give me a list of the states that are doing this, that are saying we got to turn the spigot off. What and how does that apply to pragmatically? How do you approach this process? I mean, there are some people, as Matt just told me on the MyPillow text line, who are literally making double their normal wage on unemployment. Now, it's easy to sit back and denounce somebody who's not working and making you're kidding me? You're going to tell me that people are going to go back into the workforce and go back to making half what they're making as long as the government has their hand out? It's a tough issue. It's a complicated issue. We're going to get there. We're going to work through it. We're going to work all through it together. It's what we do. America's coming back. Don't lose sight of that. I'm often running to your phone calls. The Texas governor announcing an end to the federal pandemic-related unemployment benefits. Let's get Tom's reaction to it all. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Great. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
I find it unconscionable that people would do that. I'm not judging them. I'm a believer in Christ. But what I would say is you have to have the common sense to just look forward and think, this isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And it's going to destroy our economy. It's just going to have adverse impact on society at large. And it's just a bad thing.
I tend to agree with you, but I also I urge a little bit of grace here when it comes. You think about a young family. Maybe they've got 2 young kids at home. Normally they'd be having to, get childcare, babysitters. You got quality time together. I mean, you're making, double. If this texter is right, there's some people making twice on unemployment, what they would make if they went into back into the workforce? That's a hard thing to push back against, Tom.
It is, but you have to also, as an individual, look and say, if I have these gaps in my record relative to working, I mean, what is that going to look like to a prospective employer?
Well, but you know what it's going to look like. You know the answer to that. They're going to say pandemic.
Absolutely.
So
Understood.
But I tend to agree with you. I really do. I think you make a great point that just for your own, your self-respect, your worth, your understanding that this cannot be sustained. It just can't. But people don't want to go back. I mean, here's a text message. Mike, I work in the food industry. For the last several months, it's been horrible trying to hire people because they do not want to come back to the workforce. It is time to stop the extra pay. And this is never going to happen from Biden. You understand, Biden wants to keep it going indefinitely. Biden has shown no indication that he wants to pump the brakes at all. And what I hope people understand is there's no government money tree. We're paying this. You and I are paying it. This has got to stop. This is not sustainable. Scott, you're next here in the ReliefFactor.com studios. Hi, Scott. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Pretty good. What do you tell a young dad who makes twice what he was earning in the workforce if he stays home and collects unemployment?
Well, first of all, I'm going to tell him the money tree's going to dry up sooner or later.
You bet.
And I myself, I'm 60 years old. I collected unemployment 1 week in my whole life. Get up and went to work, and I'm going to work now with pain in my legs and
wow.
everything else. And I'm just getting fed up with this. I'm just tired of paying taxes for people to sit at home and on a joyride.
Yeah, I get it, Scott, and God bless you. I appreciate your dedication, and I respect you tremendously. Is this a character issue? Does this get down to character? Again, I'm trying. I try every day to be thankful and appreciative of how lucky some of us have had it, and I listen every day to people who have struggled. So I don't want to. It's hard for me to not be judgmental here, but this cannot continue. We're going to face an economic crisis in America, and one way to get toward the end of this crisis is to get people back to work.